In this lecture, we're going to be graphing quadratic equations. My quadratic equation is y equals x squared plus 3x minus 10. The first thing I need to do is find my x-intercepts. To do this, you can factor and then use ZPP, or you could do the quadratic formula. I'm going to go ahead and do the quadratic formula. So, my a value is going to be equal to 1, my b value is going to be equal to 3, and my c value is negative 10. So now plug it into the formula. I have x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. Now to simplify this, I get x equals negative 3. Then, when I plug everything underneath the square root into the calculator, I'm going to get 7, and then over 2. Now I need to split up the equation, so I get x equals negative 3 plus 7 over 2, and x equals negative 3 minus 7 over 2. So for this one, I am going to get the answer of 2. And for this equation, I'm going to get my x-intercept of negative 5. Now I'm going to graph them on the coordinate plane. So I get x equals 2 as one intercept, and x equals negative 5 as the other x-intercept. The next thing I need to do is find the line of symmetry. The line of symmetry has the equation of x equals negative b over 2a. My b value is 3 from above, and my a value is 1. So let's plug that in. I get x equals negative 3 over 2 times 1. So x equals negative 3 over 2. Now in this case, because working with decimals might be easier, I'm going to change the fraction to a decimal, and I'm going to get x equals negative 1.5. So I come over here to the graph and draw the line of symmetry, and that's going to be right here in the middle between negative 1 and negative 2. The last thing I need to do is find the vertex. Remember, the vertex has an ordered pair, x comma y, and I already know that my x value is negative 1.5. Now I'm going to plug that x value into the equation. So I get y equals negative 1.5 squared plus 3 times negative 1.5 minus 10. When I simplify this more, negative 1.5 squared is going to be equal to 2.25. 3 times negative 1.5 is going to be equal to negative 4.5. And then I bring down the negative 10. Now, I'm going to add everything together. And I get that y equals negative 12.25. So my ordered pair is negative 1.5, comma, negative 12.25. Now I need to graph that on the coordinate plane. So I'm going to start at 0 and go to negative 1.5 and down to negative 12. Well, if you notice that my graph goes to negative 10, so I'm just going to go 1 and then 2 more down, and a little bit past that to get negative 12. The last thing I'm going to do is draw my parabola. And that is the graph of the quadratic equation.